think you helped me a lot, actually. You were like one of many catalysts to help me become more affectionate. Because I don't normally hug them. Like for JK, like we're not a hugging type.
Yeah, we
You know what?
I never hugged you before.
I think JK made me colder. JK made me colder because back in the day, I used to hug everyone and shake their hand when I was leaving. Yeah, but then ever since like. After a while, I think just when you see the same exact people every fucking day.
Did you know you'll see them the next day?
Yeah, it's we're at another level of friendship now to where like it's kind of like I don't know.
It's almost even weird too, cause like whenever we get like in settings like where we gather around, I hug David because I'm used to hugging David. He's very affectionate. I'll hug like.
I like how you looked at me and you hugged me.
No, because I arrived with you, but then I'll
see you
hug
like
Jen.
3 times in one day.
Right.
Or like I'll see
so
him
it's
like
weird. It's really
yeah.
weird to like hug
Like,
you 3.
I'm not gonna shake his hand every fucking time I see him because I'll see him like 5 times different times during the day.
Right. Same.
But with you too, like I've never really felt you as an emotional person. So I think the first time I ever hugged you, I was already expecting like a fuck, I don't know how to hug, like a stiff hug. But then when you actually like molded and it became an actual hug, I was like, oh shit, Joe knows how to hug. Like that's cool.
I know how to hug. I just didn't want to hug you because you have spikes.
Oh,
Fight.
I just didn't want to reach up to hug her.
I think it's pretty interesting that when I first met the 3 of you guys, Joe, Bart, and Gio, like you guys were definitely much more, like even back then, like the branding of JK was much more like gangster, you know? So it's like there's like this certain like machismo you kind of have to walk into in terms of.
I felt that too.
You felt that, right?
Yeah.
I was way more affectionate with my gang than I was with JK.
Yeah.
You guys are JK.
Boom. What's up, homie?
And then all the girls, you would hug like that.
You two created that culture, so when I walked into it, that's what you felt is exactly what I felt.
Yeah, I was just
You
kind
know
of
why
like,
though?
the
I
guy
think
trying
it's
to be
because
cool now.
us, we see each other every fucking day. Because I remember there was a time when we used to shake hands every fucking time.
Not every single time.
Every single fucking time.
Yeah.
There was a time where there was
never
all
saw
of that. And then we would hug all the homegirls. Like every time they're gone. But then it's like we got so fucking used to each other that it just became pointless. Like there's no point.
That's so interesting because when I first joined in the company, I just felt everybody's vibes and I'm like, okay, it seems like Joe and Bart do not like to be touched whatsoever. So I don't think hugging is in their vocabulary. Gio, like for you Gio, like I feel like I wasn't exactly sure how to gauge you, but I feel like, okay, I don't think she really likes to be touched either, and I don't think like hugging is really her thing. And then with Tiff, like Tiff, I can see David immediately right off the bat. It was like with open arms, and he like doesn't care if people like touch him. Like he wouldn't be like, ugh.
But do you hug your brother though? Yeah. You do every single day. Good morning. What's up? Boom. With my brother, well, if he's in and out, but if he pieces out, I give him like a slap on the ass or something. Some sort of affection. Yeah. Because I remember even the first time I met you, I was like, damn, you buff, cuz. And I was like.
I think that was the turning point though for everyone though. The moment we met you and then we integrated you in terms of like friendship and hanging out together and then working with you, I think that was the beginning of this change with JK.
That's so crazy because before JK, I was a lot more physically affectionate too.
Really?
So with our old
That's
homies,
not true.
No, with the old
I've known
homies,
you since before.
No, but then you also have selective memory.
No.
With the old, remember with the old crew, I would always be like this with like Mike.
I don't remember
with Chris,
that ever.
I would always be like this. I would always like massage them and hug them. Like I was super like touchy.
You would.
Yeah.
Wow.
I would always be like this with
Maybe
Mike
because you
all
were
the
trying
time.
to flirt with me, so maybe that's.
You weren't even part of that crew at that time.
Okay.
What are you talking about? Like I would go like this. What's up, Mike? What's up, Chris? I'm like this. What's up, Derek? And I'm always like touching them like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very affectionate.
And we would always shake and say bye and all that. But I think the reason why it probably got that way is because we became so close that we just had a different level of relationship.
Yeah.
And then when you came into the picture, it was like already established at that.
Yeah.
And when we saw each other every fucking day, there was no point to hug and say goodbye anymore.
Yeah.
Because I think when I first did meet you though and I said bye, I did do the hugs and I did do it was different.
Selective memory.
Yeah. I do remember it was something, I hugged every single girl, it was like that. And then after a while, I think it just got so fucking foreign that you can't go back to it. When you stop doing it, when you stop shaking hands and hugging, it's weird to go back.
Because you associate it as something you do with strangers now. You're like, well, you're not a stranger. I don't need to do that.
Besides David coming into the picture, creating Barbell and that what that created in that atmosphere was what I think was a huge turning point for me.
David?
Threw me off.
Keep this in there.
Every time.
Not every time. That was once in a very long time. It's been a long time.
Think about it.
Even been a month.
No, it's been way longer than a month. You're talking about.
So yeah, so because I wanted to, like Bart and I wanted to create such a deep bond with the guys that I feel like we made them feel like it was okay to hug and be affectionate because we wanted everyone to feel like family. And then slowly that kind of started coming back into JK.
Yeah, I think the person that I've seen change the most when it comes to affection is Joe. And I saw that because I remember when I first started bringing Isaac around, and Isaac, he's just naturally like so affectionate all the time, and he loves hugs and he loves, you know, kissing people on the cheek and whatever. But when I would see you interact with Isaac in the beginning, you'd kind of be like, hi, like you didn't know what to do around him or do anything.
He wasn't my blood.
Weird.
Like I could touch my nephews that way, but then he's not my blood, and it's weird for me to like someone that's not my family to like get all that comfortable, because not even my own nephews cuddle up with me like that.
Yeah, how do you feel about Isaac now?
Yeah,
because like I remember the first time you hugged him, it was kind of like, oh, what the?
Yeah, you were sick.
But now, you easily can just be bonding with him, and you got the Cool Bro show.
Yeah, no, because now I see him as like family now. Like I'm even closer with him than some of my own family members.
Aww.
But it's because he's really warm.
Yeah, he is.
But I just thought it was weird because it's like, I don't know, I didn't even know you that much that time too, so it's like, who's this stranger touching my child?
That's true, I can see that point of view. Like even when you brought over your baby's cousin, like I wanted to squeeze him and touch him so much, but I'm like, I don't know if that's like, it's a strange woman touching my kid. Like
you just
don't want to be like,
just grab them.
I don't even do that with dogs, and I love dogs.
I do. They just bite you, and then you go, okay, don't do that. I think it was a unique case because like at that moment, I didn't know how long you were gonna last. You know, so until you become established, then I'm not gonna make a connection with the child that's gonna leave. Because that's fucked up to the kid, you know. So even for me, I was a little apprehensive, and I was like, "Oh, it's been like 6, 7 months, 8 months." I was like, "All right, little churro, come here."
I call you my little plum.
I know. So I don't care. I just grabbed his ass the first time.
I know. I remember. I'm like, oh my god, he's gonna kill my kid. Oh my god.
I'm actually very affectionate though. I'm a very affectionate person, but then I think just with JK we got so tight, I kind of lost it. But then even like with like Tiff or if Julius next to me, like I'll sit next to them, and because we already have this kind of like coldness established in JK, I turn into like an Asian dad. So now my affection is like, let's say Julia or Tiff's next to me, I'm like, like I want to give them affection, but I don't know how anymore. So I'm just like, you guys are sturdy.
That's true.
Like this.
That is so true.
Good morning. Yep.
That's so different. Yeah.
But you know what though, Bart? I don't really blame you because personally for me, I was never the type of person to really hug anybody. Like even in middle school or in high school, like when people try to reach out for a hug, I would on purposely and most likely, on purposely be the most awkward person to hug. Like to be, oh come here, I'll be like,
You're like a petrified.
yeah, let's bring it in. And like it wasn't even until
Let's bring it in.
and it wasn't even until college where I thought to myself like, you know, why don't you like hugging people? And I had to question myself. I was like, oh yeah, that's true. Like, well, is it because it's awkward or is it because I just want it to be awkward? And then to me it's like, well, it's not even that big of a deal. It's just a social thing where you just hug and just kind of connect with that person at least.
I judge people on their hugs though.
Do you?
Yeah. If you give me a shitty hug, I think you're a criminal. I'm like, cause like it's like, I think if you're too self-aware with somebody, like for, number one, like I've known you for a minute and it's like this. It's like, dude, you're a fucking terrible human being. You have no ability to love.
Well, what's worse in your book then? A person with terrible hugs or a person who doesn't hug at all?
I would rather you just not hug at all. That's like a girl giving you shitty cookies on Valentine's. Like if you can't fucking bake, just buy that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like fucking come up here. I made this myself. Well, who the fuck has to eat that bullshit? You know, it's the same thing with the hug. If you're not good at it, just don't do it, man. Yeah. Just be like, alright. The only time I won't hug people before I leave is if it's too many people. You know, I don't have time for that shit. It's like, I gotta bounce. Alright, y'all.
I just put my hand in there and I put it in front of their face.
I used to do that. I know what you're talking about, like at the end of a party, right? Where you want to say bye to everyone, but after a while, it's like everyone's not gonna remember. They're fucking too wasted. I just leave.
Yeah, but in Mexican cultures, or at least in my family for sure, if you don't say goodbye with a hug and a kiss, you're fucking rude as fuck. And I always get yelled at in my family because I'm like, there's like 50 people here. Like, you really want me to go to remember? I'm just like,
fucking drunk.
But I do like that though, because it does force you to have one last intimate interaction before you bounce. And I think it strengthens that bond, because like, let's say when I first met your family, I wasn't used to like kissing on the cheek thing, but then even with the males, like they'll do it. And then so, because like, I don't...
The males don't kiss on the cheek.
I don't know, your brother always does it to me. Does he like
He kisses you on the cheek?
Yeah, with this freaking scruff.
Some guys
with this tongue?
There's some guys that do that in my family too.
Your brother always does it all the time.
And he goes fucking licks in
I'm always trying to give him like you know, like the bro hug, and he always ends up doing the thing.
Cool.
So I have to make the sound effect too. It's weird. Well, affection is just like a building block into anything, you know. So also too, like, I think one of the biggest things to why, number one, I mean, I don't know if you guys noticed, like, for me, I develop a lot of bonds with girls and guys very well. And I think guys too, because they associate affection with a sign of weakness or sex, that it becomes too weird. That's why there's a lot of guys that don't have a lot of girlfriends. I have a lot of girlfriends, just because I don't give a fuck about you. It's just a hug, you know. But to other guys, when they hug somebody, it always means more than just, hey.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And so when you have that, girls can sense that shit too. You know, when you hug a girl and you're doing a little something more awkward, it's like,
that's
like what the fuck are you doing?
Like, why are you holding on and squeezing this tight? Yeah.
When I hug like a friend or a family member that's female, I hug them like they're a child. That same type of affection, like I can't pop a boner. Like,
Better not.
To remedy that, what I always do when I hug girls, I always pat them on the back. So it's like, for sure, this is like not anything, like, I'm not holding you, caressing, you know?
From a girl chest. Yeah, and from a girl perspective, if I know that person likes to hug like that with an angle type of way, I always hug from the side this way.
Yeah, because there's some guys that give other guys bad reps, because then they try to like squeeze your chest onto their chest. So I'm like, I know you're trying to fill up on my titties. Why are you hugging me like that?
I think affection was something that was like forgotten. It's not something that I was resisting or didn't want. It's just something that was out of sight, out of mind. And since I've been so away from it for so long, now it became really foreign. It's almost as if I was in like isolation or solitary confinement, and I'm just getting used to like interact with humans again on that level. Because I remember there was a time that like I did it all the time, and all my family was like, they were telling me like, oh, you're like Isaac, like you're always hugging people, always like on them, and I'm like, damn, seriously? Because I don't remember.
Do you think Brown helped you? Because like from my perspective, I always felt like Brown was like that one catalyst for you to really open up.
Yeah,
and like
sure.
you became a different person.
You did.
Yeah, I think so, because Brown was like, it's like a baby that can't do wrong or can't reject you, right? So like if I put I could be vulnerable, I could be like, it won't deny me.
Yeah.
So it was like a good like, oh yeah, this is how it felt like to hug something and care for something and feel like really strong about something. So I think that was one of the biggest things. I think Brown too. I mean, Isaac. That's why I called him Brown's brother.
Yeah,
Brown brother.
Yeah, and he happens to be brown as well. Just like a mom.
His mom.
Yeah, because children and animals too, they're two things that they won't reject you, and it's safe to love. Like, it's safe to be affectionate to. In a relationship, you don't know if they're gonna leave you or whatever. There's like danger involved, right? So I think in rehabilitating myself, those things really help me out. And I'm like, okay, so this is what it feels like to connect with a human being on that level. So
Joe, we're safe to love.
I know. We all still gonna love you.
No, I absolutely agree that it was something that was definitely forgotten. And for me at least, it definitely breaks down a lot of walls when it comes to talking to that person, because now that I'm able to hug you, I feel like there's like this unspoken type of like bond where it's like, it's okay, like we can talk now about other things, like it's not so business anymore.
Yeah, there's like a barrier that's been broken once you get affectionate with someone.
Yeah, it's I can't really explain it, but it just feels like, cool, I can trust you with secrets.
I mean, it just makes it more open and you actually have that connection, and it's more personable too, because I know that the moment I started hugging, nothing felt cold anymore. Like, it was just like, oh, okay, I'm not that much of a stranger to you anymore. Like
Yeah.
we're actually pretty close. And then the fact that like the feeling of it being open is like, oh, okay, cool. So then now I can be slowly integrated into this person's world while this person's slowly getting integrated into my world.
Yeah.